Alright, this should be working now. I've tried many times, but I think this takes the cake. I think this works. So, hello, professor, hello, class. This is my week 5 project presentation, and I chose the Raspberry Pi Pong game. So, as you can see right here, there is a cool little LCD display. I have ordered one, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if it'll arrive by the time that I need it to arrive. For me to have a punctual uh, punctual uh, submission for the date. So if in fact it doesn't come in time for me to have time to create it and then turn it in by the deadline, then I will just use the operating software in the Raspberry Pi 3 to create my Pong game. But if it does arrive, then I will for sure do this. Basically, none of the materials used to make that are sold here in America, so it's gonna take a while for them to ship it out here from ePacket. But yeah, just the fact that someone actually made the screen to be right where the actual hardware of the Raspberry Pi 3, or that's not even a Raspberry Pi 3, that just goes to show you how advanced it is now. Because when I was born, these processing computers would not be this small. They would be the size of a freaking, like, a room, you know? So this is amazing, and if I get to build this, that's just gonna be awesome. So let's move on to the objectives. Fluidity is a very big part of to me, of programming, math, a lot of stuff that requires you to memorize. It's important to be fluid in whatever you're doing, and one of my big objectives from this assignment is to be able to learn how to program fluidly. And that's not going to come from this assignment only, but this assignment will be a precursor to me being able to code fluently and fluidly. You know, if it comes to coding, I want to be able to just not think and write code and be functioning code. And that's going to take a lot of time, a lot of practice, but that's my goal, is to be so fluid that I don't even need to think about what I'm doing. The code will come second nature. Kind of like if you're doing math and you know the formulas, you can go ahead and apply that formula into the problem. So after you do that, it's just like bang, bang, bang. You just do the actual math. And if you don't want to do the actual math, you can use a calculator. But at least you have the formula and you know what you're doing, you know? So, and if you didn't have a formula, you would just stare at the math problem like, what am I supposed to do? But once you've memorized, you no matter how hard the math problem, there's always a way to crack it. And I feel like my objective, what I really want to learn or get out of this assignment, is to be able to program fluidly, and this will be a catalyst for that. Now let's move on to the software and hardware tools that I need to create Pong via Pygame in Raspberry Pi. I will need a HDMI monitor. I will need a functioning Raspberry Pi 3 with the operating system in the SD card. I will need the software of Pygame, because sometimes Pygame's not in there. I will need a mouse and a keyboard so I can navigate my way through the operating system and type in the code needed to create the game within Raspberry Pi via Pygame by way of Python. Let's see. Sources I have used were articles in the Programming Journal.org, ScienceDaily.com, that's a very good website by the way, and ScienceDirect.com, a couple of articles on there. And the potential challenges, there actually aren't major challenges, because it's pretty, as long as you have your code, you know, Raspberry Pi or Pygame will know what to do. But if I do not know the specifics of how to create the Pong game, that's a big challenge. I will have to know which code to write. Luckily, there are a lot of websites, articles, books that teach you and tell you the exact code. But if I did not know that, that would be a big issue, because I would just write gibberish and Python would be like error, because it doesn't know what it's it doesn't know what I'm commanding it to do. So once I know the commands, it'll be easy for the Pygame to translate that into an actual an actual ball being rebounded. Essentially what Pong is, right? The ball would be programmed, the two sides would be programmed to go up and down. So that's all gonna come with the proper language etiquette. Secondly, I might face a hardware issue where my HDMI cable is non-functioning, so it won't transmit and communicate with my monitor, or it won't communicate with my actual HDMI port on the Raspberry Pi 3. So if that happens, I will have no means to input data. That could be another challenge. But other than that, yeah, that's my that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a Pong game inside the Raspberry Pi software, and I'm going to play it. Thanks class, thanks professor, have a nice day.